My name is Sean Elo-Rivera, and I am a San Diego Community College trustee, and I've been a trustee since 2018. We have a process in place that, one, makes sure that we have the most qualified candidates, the best pool of applicants possible, and that it's fair, that it's equitable, that we make sure that we're building in, that all of the statements we make about diversity and inclusion, that we have a process that accounts for that and is likely to yield candidates that are representative of the community. And I feel really good about the process that Trustee Reinerson and Graham have brought to us there. I know that they're really working hard. They worked very hard to build a search committee representative of the community with key leaders from throughout the San Diego community to help vet candidates and eventually interview them. That's a great group that they brought together there. So from my vantage point, mostly for me, it's about hearing what the process is looking like. And I know that they're working hard, and they're talking to some of the national leaders in the community college world to make sure, again, that we're just making, like, San Diego Community College District deserves a great chancellor to succeed, a great chancellor, and want to make sure that that we have the best candidates possible to do that.
For now, moving on, we're going to start talking about District 9 and your race for the seat on the City Council. Will you continue on as a trustee if you are elected to serve for District 9, or will there be a different process for that?
Yeah, unfortunately, if the campaign for City Council is successful, I would need to leave the community college district. You're not allowed. I think it's state law that doesn't allow me to hold 2 elected offices at once. So that would certainly be bittersweet because I truly, truly love being a part of the community college district. I think that one of the reasons that I wanted to run was that, so like what happens in the city obviously impacts students, San Diego State students, San Diego City students, right? And I know that one of the reasons that I ran for the community college board was the way that the basic needs of students kind of outside of the classroom were impacting students' ability to learn, right? So housing, hunger, transportation, all of these things play such an important role for students. And by serving on City Council, the hope is that I would be able, in a position there, to assist, again, mostly students, K through 12, college students, university students, with these essential needs that I don't think the city currently is doing enough proactively to help with. So again, it would be super bittersweet to leave, but the hope is that can work really tightly in partnership with the district if I'm on City Council to even more proactively serve the needs of students so that when they get into the classroom, they can just focus on learning.
You're in an unusual situation right now with your race and the seat with who you're running against. And my colleagues and I, we've also been going back and forth with our professor who leads the City Times. And we were wondering at this point, if it's okay for us to ask, technically, will you be taking the seat, or does Mr. Barrio, if he does get enough votes, will he be allowed to accept the nomination or no?
Yeah, so he is on the ballot. So if he wins, if he gets more votes, that would be a decision for him to make.
Okay,
the suspension of a campaign, Noelle, is really a symbolic gesture. It has no technical impact on the election. So it was one of those things where, and I think it's confusing to the community. It's unfortunate, right? Because we had 7 people running the primary. 6 of us, I think, were I obviously thought I was the best candidate, otherwise I wouldn't have run.
Yeah.
But I think 6 of us were like, would have been fine to enter office, right? And the stuff that came to light over the last couple of months that led to the suspension of Kelvin's campaign, these are things that happened prior to him even announcing, right? So there is a little bit of frustration there, because I think I want to serve on city council. I want to win this campaign, obviously. And I really am like a big believer in democracy, and like, little d democracy and the process. And I think that it's really important for the community to have a chance to, a campaign's supposed to be a job interview, right? And it's important to have two people there at minimum for the community to interview, to vet, to challenge with questions.
So finally, a lot of students that attend City College, they live in District 9. I used to live in District 9 literally for the past 4 years until now. But a lot of students, they live there, so they're really looking towards you for leadership for their district and their area. What advice or what would you like to say to student voters, and what do you think are the best ways that you're going to help impact them?
Yeah. So Noelle, my campaign for the community college board started at City College classrooms. I was registering voters at City College in 2016, and when I register young people to vote, I don't talk to them about their civic duty, right? I don't think that that's great and all, but I am an organizer by practice, right? I am a community organizer, and I believe that voting is about power. And it's about, and when for young people, it's about young people flexing their power to help make the world more like they want it to be. And so that we have these conversations about the world as it is and the world that we want. And we see voting as a tool to create the world that we want. And every time I go in a classroom, whether it's a high school classroom, a city college classroom, or a San Diego State classroom, and we have that conversation about the world as it is and the world that we want, the world that young people want is incredibly inspiring to me. It's a world where everyone has housing, where everyone has healthcare, where there's food on people's plates. There's never selfish demands put forward about just like one individual's desires. It's about making sure that everyone is taken care of, because that is what young people think is right. It's not about ideology. It's not about party affiliation. It's about like, this is just like what is right, is making sure that folks are taken care of and have what they need. And I bring all that up because that is why young folks should show up and vote.